I ain't gonna lie, I be partially feeling responsible when I think about the thought of like family members of mine not looking the same and stuff like that. I be thinking that maybe I went off on somebody because somebody ought to made things worse. But that was the main reason why I made public apologies in the past and said that a lot of stuff that I stated in the past wasn't true. And I thought that a lot of people would have just respected that more so. But I didn't know that it was a lot more people that was lying on me and my family members. A lot of this is something that's been revealed to me now. And it was revealed to me in the past, of course, but or maybe I'm just thinking about a whole lot more as of lately, and it been something that was revealed to me. But I spoke on when I first got to Cali in July 2024. In the past, that's like I said that plenty times, and I remember I went to this place called the Lamp. You can wash your clothes there. You can also take free showers there, and then they also let you wash your clothes for free on certain days. On this particular day, I was washing my clothes. It wasn't for free, but I was washing my clothes, and there was this lady in there that kept on yelling at the top of her lungs. She just kept yelling and yelling and yelling. She was talking to herself. What made me laugh was she was like yelling out loud, but then she would also turn over and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Or she'll be like, "Excuse me." You know, she still had manners, but she'll go back to like yelling and cussing and talking to herself. That was, and I remember laughing about it at first because it caught me off guard how she just like would switch up and then still have manners at the same time. And I was talking about her to this one lady that was also in there, and I was just asking her like about like what do you think caused that right there? Like what do you think like makes somebody do that? Do you think that's like drugs, or do you think it's just like a psychological like lapse or something? Because the lady didn't look like she was high. The lady didn't look like she was drunk. She didn't look like her eyes was all like her eyes didn't look glossy. She looked like she was in her right state of mind, but she was just yelling and talking to herself. And the one lady was like, I don't know. I mean, she told me, she said she's been judged, so she don't judge people. And I looked at it like, yeah, I wasn't necessarily judging her. I was just curious to make like what made her like do that. I was even in this deep state of mind thinking that she was possibly trying to give me a sign. The lady was possibly a part of some like organization, and she was trying to tell me like this is what people are trying to depict me to look like when I record videos and never upload them on any social media platform, but just hold on to them. People probably try to make it look like I'll be talking to myself or something like that. But that lady was yelling at the top of her lungs, and then at the same time was still like shifting back to just talking to people normally and regularly, like, hey, how you doing? So that was just weird to me. And I also brought up to that lady that I was talking to. That lady was probably like 10 years older than me. She just gave me a rundown of what she like been through in life and stuff. And I started talking about, this is in like July 2024, and I was talking about this. And I started talking about stuff that I've been through. And I was talking about how I kept on trying to figure out what kind of lie was told about me in like 2013 time. And when I first started talking about it, the lady kind of sort of like, I don't know, she just looked like she wasn't really like trying to hear what I was talking about. So I just stopped talking to her altogether. You know, I just like opted out of the conversation. The reason why I'm talking about this now though is because it was another time. This was around probably that same day. I think this was that same day. One dude walked up in a Lamp. Like I said, the Lamp is this place that you can take free showers at in Los Angeles, California. It's around Skid Row. And you can also wash your clothes for free, but I think it's only on certain days that they do that. They don't do that every single week. They do that specifically on certain weeks. And I was reclining back one day, like chilling, like this, and I had my feet by the door. This one dude walks in. He old enough to be my granddad, or at least old enough to be my dad. He was at least in his 50s, at least. And he was like, "Hey, you don't want nobody running into your feet. Move your feet." I'm like, and I looked over at him like, is this man actually saying this to me right now? He was like, "You can hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? If you don't want nobody running into your shoes, then you shouldn't have your feet next to the doorway." Because he had stepped on my shoe when he walked in. And I just moved my foot out the way. I wasn't looking for somebody to say excuse me, but the fact that he came at me like that, I immediately said, yup, I'm not even going to say nothing. Because in my mind, the stuff that I've been through, I was already assuming that somebody was waiting on standby to just wait for me to talk negative just so they could try to do something, and try to depict me to look like I'm somebody who talking crazy and talking reckless and rude to people that's elders of mine. Because that dude was an elder. You know what I'm saying? He was old enough to be, anybody that's old enough to be my pops or my granddad, that's an elder to me. You feel me? But I just looked over at him and he was like, "Can you hear? Can you hear? If you want nobody stepping on your shoe, then you shouldn't be in the way." And I kind of sort of was like reclined back, sitting on this little counter by the window. And I had my foot by the fucking door. You know what I'm saying? The dude stepped on my foot and I ain't say nothing. I just moved out the way. You know what I'm saying? But he came at me like that. He came at me sideways. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't think that people just talk like that to people around here like that. I stand out, so that's probably what made him say that. And I just left it alone. I just nodded my head. I was like, all right, man. And that was it. That was literally it. It was another time I walked into this place called the Bend. And it's a little square area over there that they say stand by when you first walk in. One nigga just started yelling at the top of his fucking lungs, like, hey, you supposed to stay in the square, what this and that, this and that. This after I got kicked out of the testimonial shelter. So the moment he started talking to me all crazy and rude and reckless, I was like, yeah, somebody put a word out to basically come at me sideways like this. Because when I first got to LA, it was never really just a non-disrespectful type of walk. Like, this is what I meant when I said I walked away from disrespect in the past, yo. But I'm speaking on this now because I think somebody threw a lie on my name and somebody tried to make it look like that I was that type of nigga and I was that type of man running around talking crazy and reckless and rude to people. No, yo, that wasn't me. Feel me? So when I speak about family members of mine getting cloned and I say that pictures of theirs look photoshopped all of a sudden, in my mind, I'm like, okay, why did all this happen? You know what I'm saying? It can't be because of something that I stated in the past, because everything that I went through with family members of mine, I was going back saying, oh yeah, by the way, my apologies, January 2024, by the way, my apologies, springtime 2024, by the way, my apologies, August 2024, November 2023, you know what I'm saying, early December 2023. So it was always back and forth, negative conversations being held with certain family members of mine and stuff like that, but it was never something that was just to the point where it would make me say, okay, no, fuck y'all for life. And you know what I'm saying? I hope somebody clone you or something like that. No, yo. So in my mind, I'm like, no, man, there's somebody, what I believe happened. I said this a long time ago. A lot of people was hacking on my phone, lying on my image, lying on my whereabouts, and convincing my family members that they were talking to me using voice recognition, meaning they figured out how my voice sounded. They used some type of an app to memorize my voice, and then they acted like me and was typing and texting people and then convincing people that they was talking to me and they wasn't talking to me, yo. That's what I believe happened. And another thing, I spoke of me and my sister was premature kids, yo. And we were both like on some type of machine, but my sister was the main one who didn't get nutrients. So she was the main one that was on a machine for way longer. I spoke about this one dude from my old neighborhood back in the day, and I stated that my sister would have never like engaged in sex with that guy, you know, especially back in that day. That dude was not the type of person she would have talked to ever. So I was making that clear because I had a dream not too long ago that this one dude named Thomas back in the day was like trying to sneak and like holler at my sister, trying to sneak and talk to my sister. I had that dream like 3 nights ago. So I believe when I was in Cali, people was just constantly making up brand new lies, yo. I truly believe somebody came forth and said that I cussed out somebody, and I was in that place called the Bend. That was the place I would just take a storage to. That was right next door to this place called the Lamp. But when I was in that place called the Lamp, you know what I'm saying? Every time I went in there, took a free shower, and then I left. I didn't know anybody around that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Used to be people standing around and talking and stuff. I ain't know anybody around there. You feel me? And also the Wesley Health Center. It was times I walked up in there, and I'm not even gonna lie, yo. It was times I walked in that Wesley Health Center, and some people looked at me and they just looked away, like they couldn't even look at me. Like when I walk, I vividly remember this, yo. Like they'll look away, they'll look at me, then they'll just look away, like they know something scandalous has happened or something scandalous is ongoing. So it still is a lot of weird activity going on, yo. I don't know who it is. That's why I said as of lately, only thing I've been praying for, because I said this 1,000 times now. Like I said, certain family members of mine don't look the same, so I'll be praying for them mainly, specifically, like my parents and my siblings, because I know, you know, something ain't right. And God letting me know that, you know, God see everything, but he just giving me, I feel like God is giving me everything that he just feel like I need to know for the time being, and I'm going to know more in the future. I'm going to know exactly what God is telling me to do in the future. I ain't going to ever have everything just completely masterminded, but I'm trying to figure out what God is telling me. And I'm going to say this again. If it's somebody that's a celebrity who think they held some conversation with me ever, you didn't. That was my phone getting hacked and people acting like me, probably using voice recognition and stuff like that. And that's not just in 2023, 2024. That's also 2022, 21, 20, 2019, 2018, 17, 16. If there's a celebrity who ever believed that they was talking back and forth with me, you wasn't, yo. So, especially when it comes to people I went to high school with back in the day, or if it's people from my old neighborhood thinking that they was upholding convos with me and shit like that. Last time I talked to somebody from my old neighborhood, I was in Michigan, and this was in the summertime of 2025 of this year, yo. June 2025, July 2025 type shit. So, man, look, it's December 16, 2000. 25. And I just wanted to state this to be more clear about everything. It's 7:13 p.m. You feel me? But I don't know. I think a lot of lies was getting told to me about when I was going to that place called The Lamp. Every time I went there, I took a free shower. That was it. That's all you could do there. You either get in the shower or you wash your clothes. I came there to wash my clothes sometime. I came there to get in the shower sometime. I was going to that Wesley Health Center for a little minute, and then I stopped going there. All of a sudden, they told me that the person that was my doctor was no longer my doctor. There was a lot of weird stuff going on. And then they said it was no longer my physician. Then after that, I was also going to this place called The Bin. You know what I'm saying? I took my stuff to their storage unit. They had a storage unit. You basically had to renew your stuff at least once out the week. You had to pop up and show that you still had your stuff in that area. You know what I'm saying? But even I was going to The Bin. Can't nobody say that they was in a relationship with me. Can't nobody say, no one could say that I was engaging in sex or flirting with them in any kind of way. None of that, yo. None of that. I probably make conversation at times and say, hey, what's going on? How's it going? And that's about it. But that's it. So I don't know what's all happening. I don't know what all took place in the past, but a lot of lies got told. And I'm not about to sit back and let somebody throw a lie on me and try to make it look like I'm not respecting my elders, or try to make it look like I'm sexually assaulting somebody, or try to make it look like, man, I've been celibate 4 years. I've been sober 3 years. Can't no lady say that I physically assaulted her or sexually assaulted her. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not about to let somebody throw a lie on like a family member of my name either, especially stuff that happened way back in the day, back in the past. You feel me? So nobody's telling me directly, because I truly just believe that a lot of lies got told, yo. And I haven't stolen since I was a teenager. I want to make that clear again. The last time I stole anything, I was a fucking teenager. I was like 17 years old or something like that. 16, 17 years old. And like I said, the whole time I was in Cali, can't none of them ladies say that I even called them a bitch or a hoe, nothing like that. Can't no nigga even say I jumped up and said, nigga, watch who the fuck you talk to, what up there? It's been times I endured disrespect and just walked away. That's the truth. So this is how I know, no matter what had happened, no matter what took place, at some point in time, people just wanted to do something negative. Because what I went through did not start in Cali, yo. It just got worse.